You stand at a mysterious threshold today, not of stone or steel, but of invisible promise, and the moment you begin to listen, a quiet stirring awakens inside you, whispering that life has been asking for your attention far longer than you have been offering it, because the divine bank has never been closed, never demanded proof of worthiness, never inspected your past failures, and yet most people move through their days as spiritual beggars, rattling empty cups before locked doors, while a toast reverie hums, with readiness behind their own thoughts. The law of divine supply is not a miracle reserved for saints or sages, but a living rhythm woven into your breath, your hopes, your silent expectations, and the instant you dare to believe that your need is already met in the unseen, the account begins to open with astonishing speed. Florence Scovel taught that words are seeds cast into the field of consciousness, and that the harvest must follow the planting. So when you speak poverty, you deposit lack. When you rehearse fear, you accrue debt. But when you declare divine opulence, you make a night deposit into a storehouse that never sleeps. This is the first shocking spiritual secret. The divine bank does not respond to effort, struggle, or pleading, but to alignment, to the calm conviction that supply is lawfully yours now, not later, not someday, but in this precise heartbeat where faith replaces force. Imagine how different your life becomes when you cease begging circumstances and begin commanding consciousness, when your mind is no longer a courtroom arguing against itself, but a treasury issuing decrees of abundance. You may have wondered why certain prayers seem to fall into silence, why dreams fade before they are funded, and the reason is simple, though rarely spoken, that the soul must claim before it can receive, must recognize the inheritance before the will is read, must open the door of expectancy so the invisible courier can deliver its precious cargo. Every anxious thought is a cancelled check, every grateful affirmation is cleared payment, and slowly, invisibly, balances shift in ways that defy arithmetic, but obey divine law. You were never meant to starve in a universe that breathes generosity, yet you were trained to fear, to doubt, to hoard disappointment like a badge of realism, and now a new education calls you back to your royal account where grace compounds faster than interest. The shocking promise of withdrawing 110 million from the divine bank is not about numbers or currency, but about the radical expansion of what you allow yourself to expect, because when consciousness expands, channels widen, and when channels widen, the unseen rushes in to fill every hollow space with provision that fits your destiny perfectly. As you absorb this truth, let your spirit lean forward with wonder, for something unseen is already moving toward you, responding to the vibration of your awakening belief. And, although nothing has changed on the outside yet, everything has shifted within, where all true withdrawals are authorized before they are ever seen. As this inner treasury begins to stir, a deeper and more suspenseful mystery unfolds, because just when you feel the glow of hope warming your outlook, life often appears to tighten its grip, presenting delays, unanswered calls, empty inboxes, and silent nights that make you question whether the divine bank heard your request at all. Yet this apparent pause is not denial, but the hidden processing of a cosmic transaction too vast to rush. Florence Scovel revealed that faith is never tested when things are easy. It is tested in the quiet middle where nothing seems to move, and it is here that most people cancel their miracles by withdrawing belief too soon, mistaking the stillness for rejection when it is actually preparation. You may notice your mind drifting toward old fears, rehearsing reasons why abundance belongs to others, listing past failures like evidence in a case against your future. And this is where suspense reaches its peak, because the unseen delivery is already en route while your thoughts threaten to reroute it back to the source. The law of instant credit through faith is mercilessly precise, matching your dominant feeling without sentiment or delay. So when impatience creeps in, it is like scribbling void across the check you just signed in gratitude. Yet there is a sacred counter-practice that reverses the trend, a practice so gentle that it feels almost unreal, and that is the art of the night deposit, the silent offering you make before sleep when defenses are down and the subconscious stands wide open like a vault door at midnight. In these moments, you release your fears into the infinite, declaring in quiet certainty that the universe is arranging details beyond your vision, that debts are dissolving in ways you cannot trace, that allies are being summoned you have never met, and that your future is being funded by a source immune to recession or ridicule. Suspense thickens here because you are asked to trust without evidence, to praise before proof, to stand on the invisible bridge while the old shore of struggle fades behind you and the new land of provision has not yet appeared. This is the narrow crossing where countless seekers turn back, clutching their habits of worry like life preservers, unaware that the very act of surrender is what activates the hidden currents carrying their treasure closer. The divine bank does not announce its transfers with fanfare, it whispers through coincidence, through a sudden idea that feels inspired rather than forced, through a chance meeting that seems ordinary but alters the trajectory of your story, and the danger lies in overlooking these subtle signals because they do not match your expectations of miracles. Every delay is a disguise, every closed door a diversion toward a better entrance, yet only those who keep their consciousness open can read the coded messages unfolding in daily life. Right now, as you listen, something is being recalibrated in your awareness, something that will soon reveal why the silence was necessary, why the wait was strategic, why the suspense was part of the design, and if you can resist the urge to doubt in this sacred middle, you will discover that the divine bank has been preparing a withdrawal so perfectly timed that it will arrive just when you are about to give up. Now the final veil lifts and the great law stands, revealed in a form you can live rather than merely admire, because the divine bank responds not to drama but to devotion, not to emotional pleading but to steady expectancy that refuses to negotiate with fear. And as this truth settles into your awareness, you begin to sense a quiet authority rising inside you. The authority of one who knows that supply is not somewhere else, but already circulating through thought, word, and feeling like an invisible river seeking expression. You no longer measure your life by yesterday's balances or today's headlines. You measure it by the promises you dare to make with the universe, promises spoken in the serene language of certainty rather than the frantic dialect of need. This is where the withdrawal of 110 million becomes symbolic of something far richer than money, a withdrawal of confidence, courage, creativity, and inspired ideas that reorganize circumstances with astonishing efficiency, because when consciousness is aligned, the outer world must obey or dissolve. Florence Scovel Shin taught that affirmations are not wishes but commands, spiritual checks written on an account backed by divine law. And when you affirm abundance with gratitude rather than strain, you are authorizing flows that bypass ordinary limitations and reach you through channels you could never have engineered. The old habit of begging is replaced by a new posture of knowing, where prayer is no longer a plea but a recognition, a calm statement that your needs are met in advance by the infinite intelligence that designed you with purpose rather than deficiency. You start to notice how quickly small proofs appear, an unexpected refund, a timely opportunity, a fresh idea that seems to glow with promise, and these are not accidents but receipts, evidence that the system is working and that larger deposits are forming behind the scenes. The night deposits continue to do their sacred work, clearing away doubts while you sleep, planting images of success that feel strangely real upon waking, and soon your days are less about chasing and more about allowing, less about resisting and more about receiving. The shocking spiritual secret is that abundance is obedient to identity, and the moment you see yourself as an heir rather than an orphan of circumstance, the world begins to mirror that self-recognition with opportunities that feel fated rather than fought for. Even challenges take on a different tone, appearing not as threats, but as invitations to exercise the authority you have reclaimed, reminders that every obstacle is a messenger pointing you back to the inexhaustible source within. You are no longer impressed by scarcity because you understand it as a temporary shadow cast by misaligned thought, and you are no longer intimidated by delays because you have learnt their purpose in strengthening faith rather than breaking it. As this script reaches its close, let your heart absorb the realization that the divine bank has never withheld from you. It has only waited for you to sign your name with conviction, to stamp your requests with gratitude, to release your fears as though they were overdrafts you no longer recognize as yours. This moment is your authorization, your silent agreement with abundance that says the era of begging is over and the era of withdrawing has begun. And if you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.